We've got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to make some people angry today. I know that shocked some of you, including Jody. Because some people are going to misinterpret my thoughts and what I'm about to talk about, and that is the Lubbock County bond election. I'm going to go ahead and state right now, and Jody, you're a witness on this, okay? What we're going to talk about over this next segment, a bond election may actually be needed for Lubbock County. As of right now, I'm not going to debate the merits of a Lubbock County bond election. What I am going to do is point out some of the hot air coming from the Lubbock County Commissioner's Court. And the things that are trying to be sold to you that are completely different or not in line with what was being sold to you, the voters, just 9 months ago. Again, a bond election may actually be needed. But there's a lot of flip-flopping going on over at the Lubbock County Courthouse. And there are some quotes in the AJ today that just make you go, where have you been? Story from the Avalanche Journal. Oh, and by the way, we're also going to play some audio here in just a little bit from Curtis Parrish and Gary Boren, a debate that they had 9 months ago, moderated by me, in which they debated the merits of a bond election. Lubbock County Commissioners, this from the AJ, voted 3-2 to have a nearly $100 million bond election put to a vote in May. Citizens will be voting yes or no to authorize the county to issue $99.6 million in debt to fund transportation improvements throughout the county. May elections, which are generally city and school board elections, tend to have lower voter turnout than November elections. City of Lubbock and Lubbock ISD do not have any scheduled elections, so this will be the only item on the ballot in the county's largest city and school district. Now, wait a minute. I thought county commissioners and the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce, who have endorsed this bond election, I thought they were against holding elections when nothing else is on the ballot and it's just going to cost taxpayer money to hold the election. Jody, do you remember that? Do you remember what was that issue that came up recently it was a rushed issue. We had to have it right now. Oh, yeah, the Lubbock County Expo Center. And one of the reasons we were told we could not wait a second longer to vote on the Lubbock County Expo Center was because it would be shoved onto a different ballot, maybe this one. It would be shoved onto a different election cycle, and the county would have to pay money to have the election. The Lubbock Chamber of Commerce made that argument. County commissioners made that argument. And the Lubbock County Expo Center made that argument. That we can't possibly afford. I mean, we're basically broke on the county level. We can't possibly afford to hold an election where just one issue is on the ballot. That's just stupid. And we got to vote right now, real quickly, for the Lubbock County Expo Center. Otherwise, we may lose all this stuff. Now we're being told, well, it's perfectly fine and acceptable to have an election based on one issue on the ballot. Odd how that works. Commissioners Jason Corley and Chad C. voted against having a bond election in just a few months. C, prior to the final vote, called to table the decision until a later date to wait and possibly place it on the November ballot. That motion fell 2-3 before the vote to have the election in May passed on a 3-2 vote. There was no discussion among the commissioners before either vote. Well, that's nice. Corley, who voted along with C, said after the meeting they wanted a bond election delayed so they would have at least one budget cycle under their belts. What it needs to happen, Corley said about a bond election, but we absolutely need to get through one budget cycle before we do anything. A lot of my constituents contacted me and said, wait a minute, you just got in the door. What's the rush? I can't act on what I absolutely know or what I don't absolutely know. Now, are you ready for this quote, Joni? And maybe you know where I'm going to go once I read this. Commissioner Bill McCay and Gilbert Flores joined Lubbock County Judge Curtis Parrish in voting for the bond election. Bill McCay said, quote, we're talking about public safety. We're talking about lives. We've been made aware of the need. We know the need. The longer we wait, the longer the public will be traveling on roads that aren't safe as we'd like for them to be. Time is of the essence. You are so full of it, sir. You have been a county commissioner for years. You could have brought up a bond election years ago. And now you're trying to act as though you care about the safety of the citizens on the county roads, and now all of a sudden time is of the essence. You are full of crap. You're running for re-election. That's fine. And now you want to seem like you're doing something because you've got county commissioners now who actually want to do something besides just being famous down in Austin. Now all of a sudden for Bill McCay, well, time's of the essence. We got to do something now, boys. Where have you been? I know your BFF isn't around anymore, but still, where have you been? Now all of a sudden time is of the essence. We've got to have this right now. We got to do it. We've got to have this election in May because, well, even though it would take, 5 to 10 years to complete all these projects, we got to do it right now. Got to have the vote right now. We don't know everything, but we got to do it right now. Kind of sounds like to me the Lubbock County Expo Center. Got to do it right now. Don't have all the information. Got to do it right now. Now, here in a little bit, we'll play some audio from Curtis Parrish and his debate with Gary Boren. We'll probably do that in the next segment. But no matter how you feel about Curtis Parrish flip-flopping on this issue, the quote from Bill McCay, we're talking about public safety. We've been made aware of the need. Bill, you have been aware of the need for years as a Lubbock County commissioner. You have been there for years. I know Pay Raise Patty isn't there anymore, but you've been made aware of the issues for years. Hell, I've been doing this show for years, and I've been hearing about Woodrow Road for years and years and years. I've been having folks from the county call in election after election after election for county commissioners, and they complain about you guys not doing anything. And now all of a sudden you wake up and you say, time is of the, we got to do something now. We can't wait. We got to do something right now. We got to do it right now. Where in the hell have you been, Bill McCay? Are you a little bit worried about getting reelected, buddy? Is that what this is all about? You see Jason Corley in there. You see Chad C. in there. Your famous friend is gone. Another buddy of yours was ejected as well. And now you're wondering if you're next. No wonder time is of the essence for you. 770-5790, 1-800-687-0790. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO. When we come back, we'll play some audio from a debate 9 months ago. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO. Chris weighing in on the text line. Wish I could give Periscope hearts on Chad's current KFYO monologue regarding the Lubbock County bond. Be tapping the screen the entire time. There's just so much BS coming from down there. Now listen, again, I'm going to try to go on the record here. I am not debating the merits or the need of a bond election. I'm just trying to point out some of the hypocrisy and flip-flopping that we see from some of these county commissioners downtown. I want to take you back 9 months. We're going to continue this discussion, by the way, after we have Matt McCoviak on the show at 9:35, because there's a lot to unpack here, okay? But I want to do a little flashback to about 9 months ago, the runoff debate between Gary Boren and Curtis Parrish. I was moderating that debate. And we've got the full debate, by the way, on the KFYO YouTube page. But this was the portion, and it's about 4 minutes long. But this was the debate, and listen to how adamant Curtis Parrish is on the issue of a bond election. Here we go.
Would you support a bond election to take care of roads in Lubbock County?
No, I would not support a bond election. That just puts us in debt and puts us on a path that leads us to where the city of Lubbock is right now. We have to learn to live within our means. This is good, sound, fiscal, conservative budgeting, to live within our means. There are roads issues in Lubbock County, granted. In fact, Woodrow Road its only problem is it's 2 lanes. I'm more concerned about the roads, the feeder roads that go into Woodrow. If you drive up and down, say, South University, it is full of potholes. It is a dangerous road, and they're about to open Cooper East, the elementary school, right off of South University. This is a road that needs our highest priority right now. Woodrow, it is a great surface road. Its problem is it's possibly too small. But other than that, I am more concerned about the roads that feed into Woodrow Road. Those are dangerous, and those need our highest priority. And no, I would not do it with bond elections. I would not do it with the GO. I would not do it with CO bonds either. That's just getting out the credit card and just swiping the credit card. That's a spend and tax policy, and I am a fiscal conservative. I do not spend and then tax later, force our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren to pay off the debt. We pay as you go. That is my sound fiscal conservative policy.
Mr. Boren, do you still support a bond election for county roads?
Absolutely, because the bond is voted on by you, the citizens. It's our job to go out and tell you what our needs are, and the only way you can get it done and the amount of money it's going to cost to get it done is by you approving it. I don't believe in going out and using a CO that builds citizens' power or anything like that. I believe in using the GO where you vote and you approve it, just like the jail was approved. Now let me speak to his lack of understanding how roads work. The thoroughfare is Woodrow Road. It's strip paving, 2 lanes. It's been that way before it's been that way like over 15 years. You have over 50 yellow dog buses, morning, noon, and night. You have children, 16-year-olds driving this road. You have parents, grandparents driving it. And it's 2-lane, and you're worried about feeder roads that haven't even started being used hardly at all because of the heavy traffic. As a matter of fact, I've been told by the Transportation Department that this is one of the most traveled roads in Lubbock, Texas, is Woodrow. You've got to fix it. It's a safety issue, folks. And if we don't address it, someone's going to get killed. It's a tragedy. And I have to go out and tell you the truth and tell you what it's going to take and get everyone to pitch in that benefits the whole county to get this done.
1 minute rebuttal.
Yeah, and that's the problem with at a GO bond and election. You cannot have an election to authorize you to raise your taxes that will take care of only one portion of the county. GO bonds are to benefit the whole county, just like it was with the detention center. And so, yeah, you're right. We cannot do this with CO bonds. In fact, I think we are legally prohibited from doing this with CO bonds, and because we have seen the abuse that governments do when they just have the free credit card and they're able just to swipe the credit card and put everything on to my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. We have to pay as you go. We have to raise the money. We have to partnership with the state. We partnership with private industry, and we get these roads built. And yes, these feeder roads are not just small; they are dangerous. And there's going to be a lot of yellow dog buses on those roads, and they need to be fixed today.
So that was Curtis Parrish versus Gary Boren 9 months ago. Now listen. Curtis Parrish there talked about strong fiscal conservatism. We don't do this bond elections. That's what the city does. The city does the bond election, not us. We don't do that. Not the county. The county should not do that. We should not be taking out the credit card, swiping the credit card, letting the children and the grandchildren pay for all of that. 9 months later, yeah, we're good with that. We've got no problem with that. We go ahead. Let's do it. Now, again, I'm not getting into the debate yet of whether or not a bond election is needed. However, Curtis Parrish, 9 months ago, was very adamant that there was just it was almost, and if you can go back and you can watch the video of this debate on KFYO's YouTube page, just look up KFYO Lubbock County Judge Debate. And you'll see the runoff videos. The first video that pops up, it's around the 27-minute mark. And you can watch it. And Curtis Parrish is adamant. He's almost offended by the question. That it offends the conservative values that he has of even bringing up a bond election. And he used this to really beat up Gary Boren in the runoff. This was one of the big issues, besides the role of the Lubbock County judge. One of the big issues in the runoff was whether or not we were going to pay for stuff with a bond election. Gary Boren was all for it. Curtis Parrish was like, no, I'm a conservative. We don't do this. We pay as we go, even if it takes 30 years. We pay as we go. And go back and listen to Curtis Parrish on that. He said Woodrow Road was fine. He said, it's a little small, but overall, it's fine. It's good. After a few flippity-floppities, we need to hurry up and do this right now. We can't dare wait 9 months to have an election. We can't wait. We got to do it right now. Again, go watch the video for yourselves. Go watch the video for yourselves. KFYO's YouTube page. Type in the search bar, KFYO Lubbock County Judge Debate. First video that pops up. Go to about the 27-minute mark. Watch it for yourselves. We'll be right back. All right, let's see here. Let's get back into the Lubbock County Commissioners. I'm not done with them yet. So, this whole deal about a $100 million bond election, the rush to do this in May, and even the AJ brings this up, about the rush to do this. The AJ writes, something that's come up a few times when talking about the bond election is the current state legislative session. AJ Media has been told part of the urgency is possible decisions come from the state level, although nobody has pointed to any specifics. Well, of course not. Why would they? Received an email that a county election could cost at least $160,000. At least $160,000. But we got to rush and do this. Why? We don't really know. We just have to rush to do this right now. Just like with the Lubbock County Expo Center. We got to rush to do this right now. You had the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. They were on this morning with Matt and Dave on KFYO Mornings. And if it's not been podcasted yet, I'm sure it will be here shortly. And at the time, you had Eddie McBride was the guest here in the studio, and he kind of took a swipe at Chad C. and Jason Corley and accused them of wanting to kick the can down the road. And we got to do this right now. We got to do this right now. Those who are just kicking the can down the road. This is just a few months after the chamber championed the idea of the Lubbock County Expo Center. And we got to do this right now. We got to have the vote right now. We got to have this right now. We can't kick the can down the road. We got to do this right now. There are problems that pop up when you rush votes. Eddie was on the show and he said that something to the effect of, well, you just got to trust the people with the information. Well, you also have to trust the elected officials. And the elected officials who just got there who say, wait a minute, let's slow down. If this has really been a problem for the last 30 years, what's the issue taking a few more months to talk about this, go out into the community, visit with people, hold town halls, tell them where the money would go, figure out where we want the money to go, and pace ourselves. The Lubbock Chamber was one of those voices who said, we got to have the Lubbock County Expo Center vote right now because if we don't, we're going to have to pay for an election. Well, guess what? You're paying for one already. But I guess it was worth it now. Was it worth it then? Now it's worth it. Mistakes happen when you rush things. There may very well be a need for a bond election in Lubbock County. But there's nothing wrong with taking time. Now we're going to rush into another vote. We're going to rush into another vote for Lubbock County. And to me, that's just not very smart. You have Bill McCay, and a texter just brought this up. I've gotten a few texts on this. I know we have to take another break. We'll do that here in just a second. But you had Bill McCay, who all of a sudden woke up. After all these years, Bill McCay went, oh, hell, we've got a need here. We've been kicking the can down the road. Even though he's been part of the problem over at the Lubbock County Commissioners Court. And all of a sudden, he's realized we've got to have a vote on a bond election when he's never brought it up before. And he talked about public safety. He said, we got to have public safety. We got to have public safety. He was part of the Lubbock County Commissioners Court that cut the budget for the Sheriff's Department. And you're telling me you care about public safety, Bill McCay? Gilbert Flores, you care about public safety when you went after the sheriff's budget? Now all of a sudden you care about public safety? Don't give me that BS. Bill McCay's looking out. He's seeing that there are people getting ready to run against him. and primary him, and that's what he's worried about right now. So he wants to be seen as doing something. Pay raise Patty isn't around anymore to help him out. So he has to seem like he's on the front lines here now. All of a sudden he's realized there's a problem. I believe Bill McCay's area is Woodrow Road. And you're telling me that he has just now been informed that there's a problem with Woodrow Road? When we come back, your phone calls, your text messages, and more. Let's go to the phones real quick. And Jesse, you're on KFYO.
Hey, good morning, Chad. Appreciate you taking my call.
You bet.
Off, appreciate what you do, and I know we're kind of against the clock here. This politics is just driving me crazy. These greedy suckers that think that they can get in office and appropriate money for things that are not relevant to what their jobs are, in my opinion. But my question is, you say $160,000 to do an election. What are the costs in that? Because from what I understand, all the people that put it on are volunteers, and I can't see how they spend $160,000.
Yeah, I'll get the breakdown for you on that. But and by the way, that's coming from the Lubbock County Commissioners that it costs $160,000. So I got to get going. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you. When we come back, we're going to get more into this. On the Lubbock County issue, and I'm not going to spend the entire half hour on the Lubbock County issue. Well, we may see what happens. I don't plan on it. But people need to know what's going on. And they need to know that, we played the audio in the last hour of the debate between Curtis Parrish and Gary Boren. In the runoff election 9 months ago, you can watch the video on the KFYO YouTube page. Just type in KFYO Lubbock County debate, Lubbock County judge debate. It's, I think, the first video that pops up. Go to about the 27-minute mark. Curtis Parrish, very adamant, very, 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 very adamant that we're not going to do a bond election. Not going to do a bond. No, I don't think so. That's not the conservative foundation. That's not the fiscal conservatism that we need. And he was basically, during that debate, saying that Gary Boren was not a fiscal conservative. That was the debate. That was the argument. Okay? Curtis Parrish knew that in order to beat Gary Boren, he needed to win over some, people who did not think that he was fiscally conservative. This is all swirling in the background. That Gary Boren was more fiscally conservative than Curtis Parrish. That Curtis Parrish was more in the middle. And Curtis knew he needed to do something in order to win conservatives over to his side, to help him out in the runoff debate. This was very common knowledge. And once Gary Boren said, we're going to have a bond election. We're going to need to do a bond election. We're going to put it in the hands of the voters. If you guys want to do this, great, wonderful. And Gary Boren, Curtis Parrish came out and was very adamant, very, 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 very adamant. No. We're not going to take the credit card out, swipe the credit card. We're not even going to look at the credit card. Credit card's bad. We're not going to look at it. We don't even get any points off of using the credit card. Can't fly anywhere nice on that credit card. No, we're not going to use that credit card. No, thank you. Guess what? 9 months later, ooh, look at this credit card. This is a nice credit card. I didn't know we qualified for a $100 million credit card. This is nice. Curtis Parrish immediately went to the American Express Black credit card. Like, that's the real nice credit card. Got no limits on that one. And again, maybe a bond election is needed. But why is it why are we getting into this, we have to have a rush. We have to rush to do everything. We had to have a rush to get the Lubbock County Expo Center voted on. We had to rush into it. We didn't know anything about the Lubbock County Expo Center, but we had to rush to do it. You have two county commissioners, and a Lubbock County judge who are brand new on the job. Brand new on the job. Bill McCay has been absolutely fine delaying maintenance on roads. He's had no problem with delayed maintenance on roads up until yesterday. Up until yesterday, Bill McCay had no problem with roads in Lubbock. Well, that's not true. When he ran for re-election, he would always say, well, we've got to fix some roads. That's what Pay Raise Patty tells me. So he would say that, and then he'd go to sleep. And you wouldn't hear anything from Bill McCay until, Patty needed some help with something. Well, Pay Raise Patty isn't there anymore. And all of a sudden, Bill McCay wakes up yesterday and goes, we got to have this. We got to do it right now. Got to do it. Well, can we wait a few more months in order to see, what the budget looks like and, the new guys, they can get a budget? No, no. No, we can't wait a few months. Can't wait until November. In fact, we've got to have a bond election right now. Got to have it in May. And the county's got to pay for an election where nothing else is going to be on the ballot. Well, Commissioner McCay, I thought you guys said that was bad. The Lubbock Chamber of Commerce, along with the Commissioner's Court last year, said we had to go ahead and vote for the Lubbock County Expo Center because if we waited, we'd have to pay for a separate election, and that was a bad thing to do, and it was a waste of taxpayer money. I got a phone call. Bill McCay is probably like walking around the Commissioner's Court like Bernie was walking around the Capitol on a fake phone call. You're telling me there's hypocrisy there? No, I got to walk away here. I've got a phone call. I got to take this. So which Lubbock County officials are going to come out now and say that the property tax reform that's being done down in Austin is wrong? Chad C. and Jason Corley have both come out and endorsed property tax reform in Austin. Where are the other county commissioners? Where's the county judge? Where's Curtis Parrish on the issue of property tax reform? Is he for it like the other two new guys? Or is he going to flip-flop on that? The Lubbock Chamber of Commerce, Eddie McBride, and I like Eddie. I got no problem with Eddie. But Eddie McBride came on the morning show today and accused Chad C. and Jason Corley of just trying to kick the can down the road. Even though in the AJ, in the Lubbock Avalanche Journal, Jason Corley says, we need a bond election. I just want more information. How dare you, Jason? How dare you want more information? This is not how we do things on the county level anymore. On the county level in Lubbock, we rushed to get things done and fell at it. This is the new Lubbock County way. We've got to rush to do things because the chamber says so, or because Bill McCay woke up, and we got to rush to do it right now. By the way, this isn't the only issue with Lubbock County. Did you see this headline from everythinglubbock.com? Lubbock County JP backlogged 26,000 criminal and civil cases. In Commissioner's Court Monday, Justice of the Peace for Lubbock County raised concerns about a significant backlog in her precinct's cases. Judge Susan Rowley, Precinct 2, said she has a backlog of 26,000 cases. She just got elected, by the way. She shows up and goes, what? Including 16,000 criminal and 7,000 civil cases, the oldest dated back to the year 2000. Rally told everythinglubbock.com, my jaw dropped. The thing that bothers me is that most is that when I'm looking at the spreadsheet, many of these are really, really old cases that still have warrants. Means people with active warrants could be getting arrested for cases beyond the statute of limitations. Oh, we're doing great things in Lubbock County. We're arresting people when they shouldn't be arrested. Bill McCay finally wakes up from a nap. Curtis Parrish is flip-flopping on campaign promises. The Lubbock Chamber is calling out Chad C. and Jason Corley. Let me tell you something. The politics in Lubbock County, this is getting pretty interesting here, folks. People with an active warrant could be getting arrested for cases beyond the statute of limitations. Cases through the Justice of the Peace must have a complaint filed for them within 2 years, or they fall beyond the statute of limitations and must be dismissed. Rowley said about 15,000 of her cases fall into this category. So they're going to dismiss all these. Now, I wonder how many fines were out there from the year 2000 that Lubbock could have been bringing in. I wonder how many people have been wrongly arrested and how many people are now going to sue the hell out of the county. Because I'm just taking a wild guess here. Jody, I'm going to bring you in on this one. If you were arrested for an offense where the statute of limitations ended, let's say, 12 years ago, would you be a little upset about that?
I wouldn't be happy. No, not at all.
Now, you're not necessarily a litigious person, but if you were and you wanted to play the Lubbock Lotto, you think
if
you
I'd been
might
arrested for something like that, I might kind of lean that direction a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I would be really, really upset.
Yeah. So how much is this going to cost us when you've got 26,000 cases?
Yeah, I was dumbfounded when I heard that too.
You know what? I may embrace the ideas of, at least one idea of the new Green Deal. Tear down a building and rebuild it. I mean, because I don't know what's going on in downtown over at the, Commissioner's Court, JP Court. I don't know what's going on over there. Doesn't look like it's good. And I'm not blaming Susan Rowley. Susan Rowley just got on the job and walked into the room and probably looked around and went, oh, my God. Oh, no.
Well, you would think there'd be a matchup of cases coming in versus cases being resolved.
Yeah.
And see that there's a disparity somewhere.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think so. The district attorney's office will help Rowley dismiss thousands of cases that are beyond the statute of limitations in order to get the precinct back on track. Because you got to think also, they're getting new cases every single day. Well, at least she's cleaning it up. At least she's cleaning up the mess left behind. 770-5790, 1-800-687-0790. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO. We'll be right back. Let's go to the phones. And Vince, you're on KFYO. Hello, Vince.
Good morning, Chad. Well, it makes you wonder how many of these folks are also, repeat offenders.
What do you mean?
Well,
what are you talking about?
There might be 26,000, okay, but one person could do like 5 or 10 or 15 over the course of time that they have not been able to prosecute.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it adds up, and of course, if they don't have a good attorney, then they go ahead and pay fines or do a whole bunch more time because they're not taken care of right away with due process.
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then also, too, with Alexandria, don't give her a 3-letter, name or a 3-letter, acronym because, just call her Allie because that's where most of her ideas decide, really should belong in the alley and the dumpster.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like FDR.
true.
I mean, FDR, JFK. So don't give her.
Well, she doesn't rise to that yet. Okay.
Okay, so I'm just saying, and then also too, I've heard Foo Fighters. That y'all have some of your music you play.
Okay.
So why not have Sky the Neighborhood?
You know what? Well, I'll try to get Jody on that.
All right, thank you.
He's in charge of the music. Thank
All
you.
right. See you,
Appreciate
Bill.
it, Vince. 770-5790, 1-800-687-0790. Some text messages, and I apologize. Some of you have been sending in text messages, and I'm not trying to ignore you, but we've been getting a lot in. Let's see. Some texters weighing in. It's police officer's responsibility to file the complaint. It's JP responsibility to dismiss it after the statute of limitations has expired. Another texter, why are the attorneys in all these cases not speaking up? Another texter, scrap the expo center, time to start over. Text message, I can't wait to hear Curtis Parrish's rebuttal when he asked to come on your show. He can't afford to sweep you under the rug. Listen, Curtis Parrish is allowed on this show anytime he wants to. He knows that. Just about every single elected official in Lubbock and throughout this great state know that all they've got to do is give me a call and they can be on the show. It's that easy. Jody, I think we surprised a lot of people when I had Beto O'Rourke on this show. You know, there were probably people going, Chad would never have Beto O'Rourke. Absolutely. You need to hear from elected officials. You need to hear from those who are running, whether they're Democrat, Libertarian, Republican, Conservative, Socialist. You need to hear from these folks. Whether you agree with them or not, you need to hear because they're spreading ideas. They're putting ideas out there. So Curtis Parrish, if he wants to come on this show, he's got my number. He knows how to get in touch with me. I talked to Matt Martin this morning, and Curtis Parrish is going to be a regular guest, I believe, on their show, which is great. And I believe he's supposed to start going on after the next meeting. I think that's what Matt told me, is that after the next county commissioner's court, that's when he's supposed to be start coming on a regular basis. And so if they take questions on the show, call in. Ask Curtis what's going on. Again, there may be a need. Jason Corley brings us up in the AJ article. There may be a need for a bond election. But let's also call out some of the hypocrisy. Let's also call out some of the flip-flopping. Let's also call out the fact that Bill McCay has been in office for a very long time and has done nothing as far as the roads go. We keep on hearing that the roads have been kicked down the road for 30 years. Is that right, Jody? The 30 years. We've been kicking the can down the road for 30 years. Eddie McBride, I think, from the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce today on the show. We've been kicking the can down the road. Well, okay. Hey, Chamber, why aren't you going after Bill McCay? He's been there longer than any of them. Why aren't you calling for him? Saying that he's been kicking the can down the road. Why are you going after the two new guys who just want more information? And I've had the Chamber on my show. I like some of the folks over at the Chamber of Commerce. I don't have an inherent problem with the Chamber of Commerce. But I'm sorry, guys. You were one of the groups pushing the rush to get the Lubbock County Expo Center voted on. Kind of took a little bit of a hit on that one as far as credibility goes. Just want to throw that out there. Maybe we should slow down when it comes to elections. Get more information. I know it's crazy talk. So that way people know what they're voting on. So that way our elected officials feel good about what they're voting on.